Hello everyone and happy 11th global anniversary to Freedom Wars. In this video I will be doing something completely different than what I usually do on this channel. I am showcasing a VR world found in VRchat. This world is made by Daromu and you can also visit this world as well since it's made available to the public. I will share the link down below in the video description. I invited my friend HSD Absol to explore with me since we both met each other while playing the Vita version of Freedom Wars. We are both big fans of the Vita version and the world of Freedom Wars. I want to thank him for helping me out with getting first-person point of view footage. Since I don't own a headset and I can't afford one at this time, it might be a hassle for me due to my vision as well. I'm sure you have noticed the hallway that connects to the cells. If you're familiar with the game, you're probably wondering where this long hallway came from since it's not available in the game. Fun fact, you have seen this hallway, but only in certain cutscenes, especially when Natalia visits your cell. I'm going to assume the developers ran out of time to connect this hallway and instead let the cells be connected to the open area. I'm really glad this hallway is here since it does allow players in this world to explore and provide a place like the weapons room. While we were looking around the cells, we were delighted to see how they look just like the ones in the game. Another feature that impressed us is how you enter this VR world. When you enter with your friends, there is a chance you will both end up in different cells. I respect this decision and this much effort to make it interesting a way to arrive in this world. We were both in awe at how much detail was put into making these weapons. In game, we never really had a chance to stop and look at the weapons this close. It also makes you realize that this is what your center sees or uses every day on the battlefield. The Easy Katse is one of the guns that's easily recognized from the game. Not only do some players use it often, but you do see it in some of the cutscenes and with the promotional material or the trailers. My favorite melee weapon, the Caliburn, or the Excalibur, some remember it as, will always amaze me with its designs of plasma or energy blade. It is yet another popular weapon by the community as well. Not only is it fun to smack enemies with it, but its spin to win moveset always makes me smile. The AAW is not only a popular weapon by many players, but also amazes me with how big it is. It also has high attack damage, a wonderful choice for taking down large abductors. The MG-M7. I will admit, I don't use this weapon as much. It does look cool for its size and I've seen it in trailers. And last, the Gratian, my second favorite melee weapon. I will always love it for being a big drill spear. The Gratian's charge attack makes a loud drilling sound. It's always so satisfying when the charge attack lands and you see the abductor fall down. It also reminds me of Gurren Lagann as well. If you're wondering if there are more weapons, the answer is yes. He recently shared screenshots of the other weapons from the game. At the time of this recording, there were only 5 weapons available at the time. For the rest of the video, I will show you the areas you can visit. I have asked Daromu some questions and I will read out his answers in this video. How did you discover Freedom Wars? Approximately 12 years ago in 2013, I was playing Monster Hunter 4 on my Nintendo 3DS. The endgame exploration quests of this title felt extremely tedious. Moreover, having played nearly every previous installment in the Monster Hunter series up to that point, I was starting to feel a strong sense of fatigue. This led me to pick up my PS Vita again to see if there were any engaging games available for it. Coincidentally, Sony was rolling out its Kyoto Gakuen initiative at the time to complete with Monster Hunter on the 3DS. Taking advantage of this, I purchased Soul Sacrifice at a very affordable price. After playing it, I was thoroughly refreshed. While its production quality still lagged far behind that of the Monster Hunter series, it was finally a well-crafted multiplayer co-op game with fresh gameplay mechanics. As a result, I began to refocus my attention on games for the PS Vita platform. Then, in June 2014, a demo version of Freedom Wars was made available for download on the PS Vita's game store. After trying out the demo and finding the experience quite enjoyable, I started following updates and information about the game. Later, I went on to pre-order and purchase the digital version of Freedom Wars on its release day. What do you like about Freedom Wars? What I particularly enjoyed lies primarily in the game's combat gameplay. Freedom Wars featured incredibly innovative designs compared to other games of the same genre and era. For instance, it allowed for realistic destruction of enemy body parts, granted players highly agile mobility, and broke free from the constraint of most similar games, where combat was limited to a single horizontal plane. However, there were also plenty of negative feedback within the community back then. Complaints included clunky character controls, the inability to cancel attack recovery even with melee weapons, and significant weapon imbalance. That said, the combat design of Freedom Wars was clearly tailored with PvP gameplay in mind. While these design choices did restrict character performance in some ways, they also ensured the strategic depth and competitive fun essential for a balanced PvP environment. As a side note, it's worth mentioning that when the English version of Freedom Wars for PS Vita launched, it was already a complete build. In contrast, versions in other languages lacked online multiplayer functionality at release, naturally excluding the PvP mode altogether. Given that the vast majority of players never even experienced the game's PvP, their evaluations of Freedom Wars control field were generally based solely on the PvE mode. This is why, when compared to other games in the same genre, its overall ratings for control tended to be lower. Regarding the game's storyline, my opinion aligns perfectly well with most of what the players have mentioned. The plot design and its presentation of Freedom Wars was barely average, if not below average. The gap becomes even more stark when compared to Soul Sacrifice, which I played around the time. As a result, it's hard for me to say there were any characters I truly favored. That being said, the game's world building stands out as a definite highlight. If you ever read the official art book or design materials, you'll notice just how elaborate and detailed its world building was. At the very least, it's clear the developers originally intended to build an entire franchise around it. Unfortunately, Sony's decision to scale back its PSV operation left Freedom Wars' story cut short at an extremely awkward and unresolved point. Favorite weapons or guns in Freedom Wars? Dragon Fang, in the PS version at least. It had a maximum ammo capacity of only 4 rounds and its power stat wasn't even the highest. However, after the Freedom Wars Remastered update, it has transformed into a weapon with the highest damage. What's more, its ammo capacity has been increased to 7 rounds. I'm absolutely thrilled about this. It has been 11 years since the original release on the Vita. Do you have any memories that you have or share with friends? I remember that from the end of 2014 to 2015, I made plans with many online friends to play PvP almost every night. As time went by, though, our gaming sessions gradually shifted to just weekend nights, and eventually, we all moved on to play other games. Even so, I still keep in touch with quite a few of these friends to this day. It's truly amazing how a single game turned us into friends who stayed connected for over a decade, even though we never met in person. How long have you been working on this project? How many years or months? Working on this Panopticon VRchat world officially began in June of this year, counting from the start of my efforts to organize unpacked assets from Freedom Wars Remastered. I spent roughly an hour each day working on it. However, going further back, around July 2023, I had already created a Freedom Wars style world and uploaded it to VRchat. My original intention was probably just to experience what it would be like to actually be inside a cell using VR. Back then, I was still modeling everything myself. I even recreated the cell's toilet as depicted in the official art book. Fortunately, it was just a cramped space of less than 10 square meters, so it only took me about a week to finish. Later, I got in touch with Pod, who was quite knowledgeable about unpacking Freedom Wars game assets at the time. After he guided me on how to unpack the assets, I discussed with him the idea of building a Freedom Wars museum in VRchat. Following a period of unpacking and organizing assets from the PS Vita version of the game, plus the initial planning and production of the museum, I uploaded the first framework version of the Freedom Wars Museum around the end of August 2023. Unfortunately, despite the extensive technical support Pod provided throughout the process, the project involved an enormous scale of assets. And my lack of experience in building VRchat worlds led me to abandon the Freedom Wars Museum project afterward. In the end, only 2 complete scenes from the project were retained: the fueling station and Simeon's room, and the world was renamed Freedom Wars Chat Room. Since this world used textures from the PS Vita version, its visual quality felt very rough in VR mode. Combined with the fact that the overall construction of the world was quite simplistic, I never ended up making this world public. It wasn't until the end of 2024, after the announcement of Freedom Wars Remastered's release, that I hosted some friends here to chat and reminisce about the old days. During the process of making this VRchat world, did you run into any problems? The biggest challenge was still the issue of network synchronization. Again, this stemmed from the lack of experience in creating VRchat world. During development, many elements ran smoothly in single-player mode, but when tested in online multiplayer environment, a host of bugs emerged. This forced me to spend a great deal of time midway through making fixes and running additional tests. However, having learned from all the lessons along the way, I believe such problems will likely be reduced in the future projects. Do you feel satisfied with this world that you created, or do you feel you can add more onto this world? In fact, the outcome of this project has exceeded my expectations somewhat. As the development process progressed, I picked up quite a few new skills. Additionally, I shared updates on the world's creation publicly along the way, and received a lot of positive feedback and encouragement during that time. My future update plans for this world include adding a PvP waiting room, a system that allows players to customize weapon appearances, a feature to take center card photos within the world, and the ability to perform the Shaz dance anytime, anywhere. The experience from my 2 previous Freedom Wars world projects has allowed me to approach the creation of Panopticon with a more practical mindset. After this, I also plan to refine and update it incrementally, with the goal of making it a world where both Freedom Wars fans and VRchat players who stumble upon it can fully experience the prison walk. If anyone has other interesting ideas for addition, feel free to share them with me. Are there any future projects you have in mind or projects that you want to work on but do not feel ready to start on right away? I have 2 future project plans, both of which are still Freedom Wars themed VRchat worlds. The first is an attempt to create a PvP map that allows players to engage in high-speed combat from a first-person perspective using Ibarra for movement. Just thinking about it sounds incredibly exciting. Given VRchat's script limitations, building this world is theoretically feasible. However, a complete competitive game world would require handling a massive amount of synchronization and interaction issues. With my current skills, I'm not sure if I'll be able to successfully build this world. I'll just have to take it one step at a time when the time comes. The second project will likely be relatively easier for me to implement. It involves creating a Contribution Girls VRMV world, where I'll produce a full dance performance to one of the game's songs. And that's all the questions. I want to thank Daromu for taking the time to answer my questions. For the rest of the footage, me and my friend explored as much as we could. We were both in awe with how much work was done for every place you can visit. While I did enjoy being able to see the weapons from the game and are allowed to hold them, my favorite area is definitely the Warren. It's really amazing and impressive to me that 11 years ago this world was only viewed through a tiny screen, and now it's possible to fully explore it. I've always loved the idea of being able to visit video game worlds like this. I look forward to Daromu's future projects. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you can check out Daromu's VR world of Freedom Wars when you can. Once again, the link to visit this world is in the video description down below. A huge thank you to HSD Absol for the other perspective footage, for showing me how to use VRchat for the first time, and also being able to fly around the large map. I don't visit VRchat as much, but maybe when I'm not so busy with projects, I will try to stop by later on. Do you have any good memories from Freedom Wars? Are you still playing the Vita version or the remastered version? Let me know about your thoughts in the comments below. Take care, stay safe out there, and have a good day.